Welcome back to Make Up Life. My name is Amber and today is going to be a health update. And it's just a coincidence that I have sinus stuff going on because the last video ended with me having an unknown sinus thing going on. I've been healthy for a while now. This has only been going on for a couple days now. And coming out of that sinus thing, what basically helped it was Claritin and sinus rinses. So yeah, anywho, the last video ended with me speaking a lot about how tracking food is not helpful for me. And literally days after filming that, my husband said, I'm not satisfied with my own weight. I need to start tracking my food. And it usually works better if I track along with him, just for the accountability's sake. So we went back to an app we've tried before. It's called Lose It. And me being me, I was like, well, I'll play along with their game. I'll just do what they say. I'm going to give it a solid month and then reevaluate how things are going. And with that app, it takes into account your exercise and all that sort of thing. And so you basically have a ever-changing calorie goal with them. And I played their game. And during that time, I also created my own little spreadsheet to keep track of calories and fiber and deficits and measurements, just basically a lot of different things. I find it frustrating to have a lot of information spread out over many different apps. I think it doesn't give you a very clear picture of what's going on overall. And so I was trying to consolidate all the information into one spreadsheet. But I told my husband, for some reason, tracking with you and tracking this way seems easier than it was before. And it basically came down to the calorie goal wasn't as low. And I wasn't tracking specific macros. I was just tracking overall calories. And it just seemed easier. But unfortunately, by the end of the month, we basically had a lot of information collected showing that it wasn't working for me. And for him, it was. And I was asking him, why is that working for you? And it was basically, he wasn't playing their game. He had a set calorie goal in his mind, and he was using the app to track the food for that purpose. And also, he wasn't exercising as much as I was, so he wasn't getting the app prompting him to eat more or any of that. So for the next little section of time after that, I just chose a solid calorie goal and aimed for it. And the nice thing was I was actually seeing progress, so that was helpful. But then we had a doctor's appointment with some unexpected results for me. Back in the fall of 23, I had some iron issues to the point that they recommended that I have some iron infusions. Classically, I'm not anemic, but if you look at the ferritin levels, which is the iron storage in your body, it was very low. So I had the iron infusions and I had a really bad reaction to it. I got crazy exhausted to the point of being bedridden for quite a while. And ever since then, they track my iron every so many months, like either 3 or 6 months intervals. And we went in for our standard follow-up, and they basically said, so are you ready for another infusion? And I'm like, no, I have no desire to have another infusion. And she's like, you're not at the point where we're gonna, strongly recommend it, but you're really close to the range where you need to have one. So my health focus drastically shifted. I came home with the intention for the next 3 months to track my iron and try to maintain, if not increase, the iron in 3 months through diet and nutrition. So I went through a whole phase of researching and trying to figure out what foods are good, what supplements are good, all that sort of thing. So as I was saying, in the course of incorporating all this new information about iron, I became overwhelmed because I wanted to maintain the same tracking I was doing for the diet and nutrition and everything else. And I had to have a heart-to-heart with West and say, please help me simplify this and choose a focus. At this point, my main thing is tracking my iron, and for my age and everything, the recommended amount is 18 milligrams a day. And then the previous supplements I was doing were non-heme iron. So non-heme means plant-based, heme means animal-based. So I was consistently getting bad reactions to the non-heme supplements, meaning I was having that fatigue reaction. So this time around, I'm trying heme iron, and the most current recommendations is to take it every other day. So that is my current state of nutrition. It's a little bit frustrating because a lot of the iron, sources of iron that you look at, because I'm trying to include both plant and animal-based iron in my diet, they tend to be high calorie. So you're talking about nuts and seeds and dried fruit and then mostly beef. So I'm finding it challenging trying to keep within a calorie range. So at this point, we're just saying, just stick with the iron. That's the goal, and we'll revisit it when we get retested. So, and along with the iron situation, I've been dealing with fatigue. And like I said, I have a fatigue reaction to iron oftentimes. So increasing iron in my diet, I have the fatigue. So I'm back to square one with exercise, which is frustrating because I have the memory of working out 5 days a week and doing really well and making progress and everything. So I'm back to, as I'm able, go for a walk, and trying not to get hard on myself if I can't do that consistently, but just have it in my mind that it'd be nice to go for a walk and try to encourage myself to do that. And let's see. So that's the major shift in my health situation at the moment. It's just the focus on iron. There was a interesting little side route. When you start researching iron, they often say it's better absorbed when you have it along with vitamin C and your B vitamins. And so I had asked my doctor to look at my B vitamins, and they, strangely enough, came back high with no supplementation. And so that spurred some extra testing that got done, and just recently we got the good news that I'm clear for Lyme's disease and clear for all the markers for inflammation issues and autoimmune issues. Although I do have Hashimoto's, but that he was testing a different range of autoimmune stuff. So those are not the culprits of the high B vitamins. The last thing that we're going to be testing is heavy metals, and I haven't done the test yet. So we'll see how that comes out. But that was a bit nerve-wracking waiting to have those tests and wait for the results. But when I went in there for the sinus stuff, he came back with the results for this test at the same time. So yes, this sinus stuff has been going on for 3 or 4 days. We don't really know what it is, and we're working on treating it. But it's just a coincidence that I had similar stuff going on the last time I filmed. So I would love to hear how you guys are doing, if you've hit any interesting speed bumps in your journey, and how you're moving your body here this spring, moving into summer. I'm grateful that we have a gym membership, so when it starts getting really hot and going outside is not appealing, we can always go over to the local gym and walk on their track and do things indoors in the air conditioning. So until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Feel free to like and subscribe.